Alright, that'll do. That'll do. What's going on? What is going on? I'm not sure how much of an audience there is for 3 separate Pyro prison streams. Fluffy obviously being the biggest one, and then Russ. Even though I am this is a little bit different since this is all private and stuff. I'm not advertising this anywhere else besides Pyro prison Discord, and maybe I never will. Maybe I never will. I think the biggest reason I'm not really comfortable doing that is that I'm a little afraid of ghosting. Like, it doesn't happen when you're a small time streamer, sure, and it might not happen even if you're a big time streamer, but just the fact that it can happen. Like, just imagine you're playing a big game you really don't want to lose, and then all of a sudden you get the feeling that your opponent is just like, I don't know, reading your mind. I don't know. It just feels off to me. I also, furthermore, I already have a Twitch page where I do retro games, so I kind of don't want to mix these up. But even if somebody decides to watch this video afterwards, I'm more than happy. I'm more than happy with that. All right. So, so I have like 2 different lists here. I said I'm gonna be playing the Caligula variant, which I probably will. Just wanted to show you, this is the list I ran previously. This is the one I went 5-0 with. Now, it was a friendly, so take it with a grain of salt. And maybe I got a bit lucky. But I did face 3 Rock deck, so I think there's something going on here. Now, that being said, I do kind of feel that, being perfectly honest, if you compare my build here to Caligula's optimized build, so to speak, this is super aggressive. My build is super aggressive, not necessarily on the main deck side, but especially on the sideboard side. I have like 4 Eidolons and 4 Blood Knights, a Chroma and a Banefire. I'm basically built to beat blue-white control, because I don't know, I maybe maybe I just, you know, I get mad. I get mad for losing at UW all the time. I just grew tired of that, so I was like, fuck it. Let's see if there's something I can do about it. Turns out there is. But here's the thing. I gotta say, for example, this one game, I think I was waiting for 7 consecutive turns just to draw into a threat behind the bridge. It actually might have been more. I think that probably was closer to more than 10 turns, during which my opponent might have been able to draw out of that, and I was a little scared. My point is, even though this build does some serious work, it's not refined. That's what I mentioned in the Discord as well. And I don't think such a targeted build can ever be refined in the truest sense. You know what I mean? it's targeted against a very specific archetype. Now this, I think my build, now that I'm looking at it from a different angle, I think it does what it does, and it does it pretty well. But it's not very, how should I say this? It's specialized. It's specialized. It's strong against control, or stronger against control, but it's much weaker against aggro. Not necessarily combo, but aggro. And this is a moment of introspection for me. It's a moment for me to take a good look at myself, at my life choices, at my card choices, and be like, well, there's plenty of good here, but now moving over to Caligula's list. It's not the same list card by card. I did cut one war boss to make room for the 4th caverns, and I let Chandra go from the sideboard, and I put a fleet wheel cruiser in. I think the biggest thing I have going on here is actually 22nd land. It's not the amount of aggression itself, even though it helps a lot. It's the fact that I have more mana. And I have an extra ritual here. I think I might be running a little bit too hot on 10 ritual effects. So adding one tiny change to the main board, I think this deck is actually better. It doesn't make much sense to try to reinvent the wheel by ourselves when we have this amazing community. You know, people are trying to work together to come up with the... Honestly, I kind of hate the word optimized build, because it hints towards the fact that there is the best build and everything else is suboptimal, like optimized suboptimal. Not sure if I like that. But like, one list that is very solid, has like almost no weak points, it's very balanced, and in that standpoint I think this list is actually starting to be pretty close to it. So what we have here, the strong points, well, 4 Blood Moons still, 4 Rebel Masters, 2 War Boss, and a Krengo. Now the difference between 7 or 8 Rebel effects is minimal. I fail to see the huge difference. Also, I am not 100% sold on Krengo yet, just due to the fact that it does absolutely nothing on the turn it hits play. Even on the turn afterwards, it doesn't necessarily do anything. Now it can dodge trading with other creatures with power of 2, so there's that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that the main deck is already pretty aggressive as it is. 3 upgrades might be better to have 3 than 4, since we're running 2 sweepers, and you don't have to cast it to remove the creatures, because you can also cast it to face. So I think Slagstorm is the correct choice in the main deck if you want to run them. Besides those, 4 Karns, 2 Chandra. I'm not sure. This is something I'm not sure about. Is this the correct number? 4 and 2. 3 and 3? Sometimes I kind of feel that 4 Karn is too much. Like 3 would be the correct number. But this is debatable. This is debatable. again, 3, 4. It's starting to boil down to tasties. If you want to run something else, I don't know. Cart, an extra Chandra, combustible Gearhulk. No, don't run combustible Gearhulk. Don't do that. No, don't do that. Yeah, I mean you probably can't go wrong with that. But the sideboard, now this is where things get interesting. First, the normal package. So we have 3 Eidolons. I'd like to run 4. But something's gotta give. I think you need some amount of Eidolons in your sideboard. 2 sounds a little bit too few. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it's 3 or 4. It's 3 or 4. Alright, so this is 3. Angers. We have 3 Angers. 2, 3, either one is correct. Hazoret. Not super sure about her. But let's go back to that. Let's come back to that. Current package, Tormod script. I think this is better than Cage, since on the matchups that you want Graveyard Hate, you want it now. You don't have time to wait for it. You really don't. Like, you play Karn, you wait one more turn to play Grafdigger's Cage, and then they will just destroy it anyway, because they always have like either Ancient Grudge or they have Nature's Claim. They always have some kind of disenchant effect. And this is a one-time use. Yes, it's card disadvantage. It would be if it didn't come from the sideboard. So now it's actually not card disadvantage. Unless you're siding it in, but you probably shouldn't. It's only a speed bump, but against Dredge, I think that's all you need. I think this is correct. Coding and Lattice, well, you probably need both of these if you're running Karn, no question about it. Sorcerer Spyglass is a card I am not too sure about. I suppose it can take care of opposing planeswalkers, but running coding mostly performs the same duty. And since you're already running Karn, Karn is going to shut down all the opposing artifacts anyway. So where does that leave us? I mean, yeah, you can name like Devoted Druid, I guess. Right? Like, this is a card I really don't understand. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. Most lists do run it, but why would I run Sorcerer Spyglass if I already have Karn? It's good, but does it warrant a slot? I don't know. Let's come back to that as well. Turbo Orb is absolutely necessary. This is almost like a game over against humans. Not completely, but almost. Fourth bridge in the side, absolutely, since now you have 7 bridges. Sorta. It's slower to play the bridge if you have to fetch it via Karn, but you still have more. And if you truly feel like you need it, you can always side it in. I don't think you should though. Trinity Sphere is another card I'm not so sure about. Against certain decks, it does a lot. Against like Storm, it's game over. Phoenix. Well, yeah. Storm, Phoenix. If it stands on, if it stays on the table, it's game over. But I don't know. It's kinda alright against Burn as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and argue Burn doesn't really care that much about Trinisphere. It's decent. It's decent, but like, so with Burn, here's how the games go. Here's how the games go. They win the coin toss. Land. Goblin Guide. Swing in. Go. You play land. Go. They play land. They play either Eidolon and swing in, or they play Swift Spear, Spike you. Swing in for what? 4. You already took 3, so you're at 7, 9, you're at 11 life at this point. Go. You play a land. Well, you better have a ritual at this point. But even if you do have a ritual, let's say you have a ritual, and you ritual out the Turbo, no, I mean the Trinisphere. Okay, they go like, sure, my turn. They untap. They play their third land. They play one spell, any spell. Lightning Bolt costs 3. Okay, they cast it. You go to 8. They swing in for 4. You're at 4. Go. Okay, let's say they don't draw the land. They swing in for 3. You go to 8. And you untap. Well, you better have a follow-up at this point. If you have a sweeper, great. But even if you do, next turn they will play a land and bolt you. You go to 5. 2 more spells, 2 more turns, and you're dead. It doesn't stop them. That's my biggest problem with Trinisphere. It's a speed bump, and it's a major speed bump against some decks, but I'm not convinced. I'm just not convinced. Alright. Fleet Wheel Cruiser. My latest addition. My latest addition. I wanna say I like this. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this card. It's so good. It's so good. They never see it coming. 4 mana, 5/3 Trample Haste. Now, it can die, since it's only got 3 power, but my experience has been that it actually normally doesn't. Since they never see it coming, it's not like you play it, and then they'll be like, alright, so I'm gonna leave this and this guy back to block, alright, yeah. No, they don't expect it. Nobody expects the Spanish Fleet Wheel Cruiser. And you can always recrew it. The thing is, with Karn, even if you don't have a creature, you can always just animate it, which will make this guy a 4/4 Trample on the later turns, if need be. I suppose if you really need to, if you needed to survive like 3 power creature, you can just make this into a 4/4 immediately. And you can fetch it. Now, Moment of Truth. Is this still too cute? Is it too cute? Like, if we're being dead serious, is it too cute? Is there something better? I probably should be getting into a league, but since I'm here, I'm not really in a hurry, so I actually want to take a closer look at what we have here. Let's see. Do we have anything better? Let's see the artifacts first. What do we have? What do we have. Now this doesn't obviously include every single artifact in existence, but do we have anything better to include to swap with these cards? Let's see. Oh, nice, Tamo. Glad to hear you like it. Glad to hear you like it. Damping Matrix. Damping Matrix is kind of hard to justify when you already have 4 cards. Damping Sphere. Okay, let's put Damping Sphere on the side. Let's put like a maybe pile here of cards that could be included. I think Orb is better than a Trinity Sphere against Burn, Storm, Moderate Phoenix. Orb? Which Orb? Turbo Orb? Turbo Orb doesn't do anything against Burn or Storm or Moderate Phoenix. Probably we're talking about something else. Orb. 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 Cryptolith Fragment. You know, actually I did try this card this one time, since it does get around bridge. It does get around bridge. But the fact that it comes into play tapped, and so you can't use it immediately. It doesn't do anything on the turn it hits table. Yeah, this it's too cute. It's too cute as well. It was a fun idea, but it just wasn't meant to be. Yeah. Alright, so Damping Sphere is one idea. Defense Grid is another. Dragon's Claw, I don't like it, but okay, let's put it here as well. Edge Champion doesn't do anything. Charbelcher. No, this Charbelcher is a meme card. Oh, you mean Witchbane Orb? Indeed. Yeah. That's one option as well. That could be considered. Heart of Kiran. I don't think so. Like, against what would you side this in? I think Fleetwheel Cruiser is better in every single way. Like, even if you play this, you can't attack with it until the next turn. Yeah, not you. Oh, by the way, Dommel, if you're following my stream, can you try typing in the YouTube chat just to verify if it works? Unless you're not logged in. There's some weird pop-up on my side here, so I'm not sure if it's stuck or something. Same day tome, nope. Orb. Mindslaver would be nice. Mindslaver would be interesting, but it's a one-shot ability. Like, why would you grab Mindslaver? If you have mana to play Mindslaver, you probably will have enough mana to play Lattice. Yeah. Metamorph is an interesting choice as well. That could work. Revoker, no point if you already have Sorcerer's Spyglass. The difference is it's minimal. Shrine, no. Silent Arbiter. Why would I play Silent Arbiter if I'm playing Breach? Skullmeat Cauldron. That could work. Sky Sovereign. I've seen some lists with Karn that are playing Sky Sovereign. It does something when you play it. The problem with Sky Sovereign is the fact that it doesn't go upstairs. It doesn't go upstairs. It's got crew of 3. That's kind of a tall order. I mean, 2 is... Fleetwheel Cruiser is great because the crew cost is 2. So you can crew it with any creature here. Any single one. I don't think so. Right? It hits the table. Well, I suppose you can... Yeah, you can make it into 5/5 with Karn, that's true. But if Karn dies, it doesn't do anything. I'll put it here anyway. Smuggler's Copter, no thank you. Spellskite, well, Sun Droplet, no. Another Turbo Orb is one option. Uber Mask. And Witchbane Orb. Worm Coil Engine. Alright, so we have 11 options. Crypt, Coding, Lattice, Orb, and Breach. These are solid choices. I'm not gonna remove any one of these. I think you need every single one. Every single one of these is absolutely necessary. I tried running Cage and I gotta say Crypt is the more important one. But these three, I could see these three go. Even Caligula himself said that he hasn't been able to land it. He likes it on paper. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but with against Phoenix, sure, it can shut them down, but you can shut them down, but you need to have it. You need to have it, and when you already have 3 Eidolons and the aggro package, do you really need more? I don't know. I don't think so. So, what's better than Trinisphere? You're saying Witchbane Orb. Witchbane Orb is a thing. It's a thing. But... Hold on, I got a phone call. Alright, so it was my brother. He's actually gonna stop over. So I'm gonna have to cut this stream and continue a bit later tonight. But let's see if I can at least make some progress before that. I'm not gonna start the league just yet. I'll do it later tonight. But we have still some time to do some deck changes. Alright, so what was I about to say? Yeah, about Witchbane Orb. So The problem I have with Witchbane Orb is the fact that it needs to hit the table before anything else happens, before anything else bad happens. And in that way, it's very similar to Trinisphere. Like if they've already got their payoff cards, or if they already played most of their payoff cards, it's not gonna matter a whole lot. Sure, you'll dodge a couple of additional spells, but by the time this hits the table and it costs 4, they probably have unloaded their hand already. Even against Burn, even if you do land this, it's not like, okay, I'm good, they can't win anymore. No, you need to both have cleared the table from creatures, and you need to play Witchbane Orb, and you need to dodge whatever they are playing in response, and you need to dodge the green-red artifact destruction spell that does 2 damage. Destructive Revelry, yeah, that's it. Or Smash to Smithereens. You need to dodge all of these. Now that's obviously only against Bird. It's only against Bird. I'm not saying it doesn't have any other uses. But against Storm, playing a card and just waiting on it never works. They always have Wipe Away, or Echoing Truth, or the X bounce spell. They always have it. Yeah, Witchbane Orb. Discard indeed. That's what I'm talking about here. That's what I'm talking about. So I don't really see it. Green Spear speed bump, as you said, and after turn 4 does not cut it against Burnstorm. But Witchbane Orb stops them completely game 1 if you already have slowed them enough with Chalice removal, so not the same. On game 1. On game 1, yeah. I do agree. I do agree. But you still need to play Karn, fetch it via Karn, and then you have to play it. And you can... I guess what I'm trying to say is that what you're trying to achieve by fighting to play Karn and then fetching Orb and then playing it, you can basically achieve the same results by just playing Chalice and Blood Moon. Like I'm not saying it's it's much easier to do that, but it achieves the same result in main deck already. And like, yeah, if you play this against Storm, they can't gift Ungiven since it targets. Against Titan Shift, yeah, they cannot target you with Valakut, but Titan Shift is an excellent matchup already, and the rest of them, like, I don't know, not being able to target you with discard at 4 mana. I just think this card is too narrow. I think it's just too narrow. Now, Witchbane Orb is still mostly against Burn, and maybe also against other decks that want to burn you out. Phoenix to a certain degree. Sure. But I'm gonna go ahead and argue Skullmeat Cauldron is better. Now, here's my argument. Both cost 4, so no difference there. Witchbane Orb, when you play it, you have to jump through all those hoops I just explained. They need to have a clear table, they cannot do anything in response, they need not to have artifact destruction, and so on. Skullmeat Cauldron though, you play it, you tap it, you discard a card, you gain 3 life. Why does that matter? Well, if you untap even once with Skullmeat Cauldron against Burn, I don't think they can win. I don't think they can win. You're already up 6 life. You will always have a card to discard. Even if you don't, even on the off chance that you don't, you can still gain 1 life. Now if they do destroy it, that's unfortunate. But you still gain 4 life. I mean 3 life. Witchbane Orb, not so much. And the longer this stays on the table, the further you will, float, and they just see the victory line escaping the finish line. They cannot win. They cannot win anymore. Now, yes, it's great against Burn. Is it great against anything else? I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not. I argue that Witchbane Orb has splash damage against Dredge, Valakut, ad nauseam. Okay, let's address that. Let's address that before we go any further. So Valakut, as I said, I don't think we need anything else against Valakut. We are very well positioned already against Valakut. Ad nauseam. I guess. But the thing is, if Ad nauseam sees that you're trying to combat Lightning Storm, they will just go the other route by playing Laboratory Maniac and win that way. So that's never gonna work. Trust me, I've tried it. I've tried playing Pitting Needle, naming Lightning Storm multiple times against Ad nauseam, and they always go around it. If they got the combo, they don't care. That's why they're playing both. And furthermore, Ad nauseam is an excellent matchup already. So that leaves Dredge. That does leave Dredge. Against Dredge, if you have Witchbane Orb, they cannot conflagrate you, nor can they Creeping Chill you. So that is a thing. That is a real thing. Still, if you have a Skullmeat Cauldron, that achieves almost the same result. Almost. But you do have a point. You do have a point. This is better against Dredge. This is better against Dredge. I'm actually going to ignore the good matchups here because you don't really need more. It's anything that helps you win the good matchups better. It's gonna be a win more card. Not saying it's bad or anything. Absolutely not. On the contrary. But when you're limited on card choices, you really have to start getting picky. So it's one or the other. I guess what I'm trying to say, both Witchbane Orb and Skullmeat Cauldron actually achieve the same type of results. You're able to do this. They achieve the same goal. But what I do like about Skullmeat Cauldron is the fact that you will be going further and further away the longer it stays on the table. Even against Dredge, I would say. Gaining 6 life, it's not a joke. It's not something to laugh about. I'm thinking Skullmeat Cauldron might be one option. But let's think a little bit further. Damping Sphere. Do we need more against Tron? I don't think so, but this is actually excellent against Storm and Phoenix. So I'm gonna put this in the might be pile. So these are all questionable. This is the maybe pile or the candidate pile, and this is the okay. This is the candidate pile, and this is the maybe pile. Defense grade. I don't like it. I don't like it. I really don't like it. This is only good against control, and even if you do manage to land it, the only thing it does, it prevents them from countering. Yeah, it might have an impact, but actually probably not, since you play it, and then your plan is to land a Blood Moon. They'll be like, okay, I'm just fetching basics. Your plan is to land a Karn. That could work, but then what they do, they just play Teferi and bounce it. Your plan is to play Chandra, same answer. It might work. This all might work, but probably not. And your aggressive choices, Rebel Master, nah, they will just pot it on your turn. I mean, on their turn. So, defense grid is out. No, thank you. Dragon's Claw, also great against burn, but I've been actually talking about this multiple times. If you want an extra hedge against burn, I think Cauldron is better. Even though it costs double, but if you land this at any point, this Dragon's Claw is a horrible top deck. You play it and then you gain 2 life, while losing 4. Not a very good trade. You have to have this in your opening 7, and if you're only running 1, what are the chances? Nope. Let's leave it. Metamorph. Now this is a hard card to value or judge. Where do you place this? Like, how good is Metamorph? It's as good as what's on the table. It's the best card on the table. It's the point is, it can always be an additional Rebel Master. But is there any point in the game where you want to fetch Metamorph with Karn? Maybe if you want like double Lattice. If you have 4 mana, would you do that? I mean, okay, you can actually play this with 3 mana. Maybe. It's a really hard card to estimate. So maybe. Sky Sovereign. 5 mana. Let's be honest here. 5 mana. That's almost as much as 6. It does deal damage though, so this is... It's like 3 damage from the sideboard that can attack by a Karn. The problem I have with this card is the fact that it will be really hard for me to crew with 3. Crew 3. With what? You always need 2 for that. Rebel Master and a token. Well, maybe Krengo at 3, but yeah, I don't think so. Like, you have to have either both, and you don't. If you're at that point, you're probably already winning. So your only choice is to animate this with Karn. But if you have a Karn on table and you played this, you probably have something else. All right, so there's my brother. I'll get back to you guys in a little bit later. See you.